All right, today we have our last segment with Coach Angela McNamara, physical education teacher at College Prep Middle School in Spring Valley, California. And today she's going to give us a little insight into how she likes to do grading, which is something as physical educators we're always trying to kind of navigate, figure out the best practices for that. And then, we're going to finish it up with just some, funny stories that have maybe happened throughout her time teaching PE. And so, we want to give her a big shout out, big thank you for being our first guest as this physical education part develops. And, let's jump right into how she does her grading.
Yeah, Coach, one thing I have for you, and this is a pre-COVID question, is everyone does it different. How do you go about assessing your students and providing grades for them? Because, once they get into fifth all the way through eighth, they're usually getting a letter grade at that level. How do you go about it? And what are some strategies you use to make sure that the kids are properly assessed?
Yeah. Well, the way we did it, so the way that I'm doing it now at our middle school, I am trying to break it up. So we're doing, participation grade, of course. Are you in class? Are you ready? Are you wearing your uniform? All that. Are you participating with good sportsmanship? And then we're definitely like incorporating some of that cognitive stuff. So like, doing a quiz on what's going on in your unit or that sort of thing. So I like assessing that way. And then, we're also adding in our health units as well. So that's kind of all combined into the PE grade. And so within our health units, there'll be assignments and different quizzes and things. So
is that something you feel like? I feel like as a PE teacher, and I guess I've gone to like Cape Bird and some of those conferences, but that seems like something that no PE teacher seems to have one perfect solution for. I feel like I've taught for 14 years, and probably each year I've had a slightly different way of going about trying to figure out the best way to do it. So did you kind of feel the same way? And is that something that, you can maybe put at, new teachers at ease a little bit when they're feeling like my grading system doesn't work? It's hard when you don't have a tangible piece of paper evidence right in front of you. You're doing observation. So
yeah, it's hard. Our subject area is not the same as being in a classroom with, assessing math where it's like, right or wrong answer. It's, we're in these dynamic environments. There's all sorts of stuff going on. It's hard to assess in person because you have oftentimes chaos all around you, and you have to, make sure that everybody's safe and on task. So to sit there and really closely assess, whether someone's form when shooting a basketball is matching your I'm losing words right now in my head. your rubric.
Yeah.
It's not always as realistic. And I know in college I learned a lot about that. And I was definitely went into the field thinking I, didn't want to place too much importance on or not grade all on participation and make sure that we were grading based on skill and all the other domains. And I do think that that's super important. And I think it also it helps give our field a little more, maybe have a little more respect, when we're like really assessing and making sure that we're holding kids to a standard and that sort of thing. But it's hard. It's not easy to do. And so finding, like you said, Miles, I don't know that I've found the perfect solution yet to being able to like have a good balance there. So.
Yeah, I feel just like you. In college, you sit there and they're like, here, you're going to create these rubrics and you're going to create this unit and you lay it all out. And here, now you're going to teach it to our class, which, our classes, at least at University of Pacific, were, maybe 12 people at the most. So it's like, well, this is really easy to teach to them. And
we have 40 kids. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get to a school and you might get lucky, especially if you're elementary, you might have 25 kids, but 25 second graders is, that's a lot of energy to try and harness. So, yeah, I think you're right. It'd be great to try and give it that credibility and have a rubric for each kid and break them down. But I don't know. I think the end goal is really to get them active and enjoying it. And if you're constantly slowing them down and checking those things, it's you got to.
And you can get creative, with like self-assessments or, like having them set goals at the beginning of a unit, and then they can assess whether or not they met that goal, or doing peer assessment, having them observe a peer. That's another way to do that, I think.
Well, that's why I think this platform is so unique, and I'm diving into it and seeing what other platforms are out there. But when you go, I think the best way to educate yourself is, of course, go to school and get a master's and all that, and that costs a lot of money. But people like us, we're done with our master. Like, we could go get some more. But I think just finding peers and talking about it, and then getting little nuggets of wisdom, and it might be one day about classroom management, it might be one day about running recess, or like tonight I'm going to call you about your life skills.
Please do.
And I'll be like, what is that, coach? And so, on my end, that's all I got for you. I'm sure Coach Miles might have other questions, but I really appreciate you coming on. It seems like you take the profession extremely seriously. I don't have children, but I have two wonderful nieces that are 5 and 7, and I would be very proud if they were in your guys' program. Seems like you take the profession, like I said, seriously. You have a lot of good ideas, and I'm pretty certain that some future college student listening to this and or a PE teacher will gather a lot of great information. So I can't thank you enough. If anything, I certainly learned a lot from you, and I'll take it to my PE class. So thank you for joining me tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This is really great. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me last year after teaching for 10 years without another PE teacher was just, it's great to have somebody else, like Kevin said, to just kind of bounce ideas off of, and then also share some of the realistic struggles that come along with being a PE teacher. Like you said, just figuring out the grading, figuring out how to deal with space and budget and equipment. And so, that's kind of our hope with this, is that's where we can take it. I guess my last thing that we'll kind of, we'll use this as the end to this, but if you could just share real quick, maybe a kind of a funny PE story. We're trying to kind of have like a Friday, but just something that maybe caught you off guard, you found really funny, that happened to you.
I have a lot of them. I don't know which one to pick.
Yeah, I can think of some right now that I have that probably wouldn't end up even being appropriate. But
we get to have a lot of fun. Yeah. One of the first ones that comes to mind is one of my first years of teaching. The school I was in was, it's all fenced in with gates and whatnot, and we're in a neighborhood, and a random dog somehow got through the gate and just ran right into the middle of my soccer game on the field. And so that was definitely an exciting day. The kids obviously were freaking out, and I was like, oh, okay. Let's figure out how to manage these kids that are running all over crazy. And one time I did have a boy, we were playing flag football, and someone went to grab his flag and ripped his entire shirt open. I remember that was kind of a funny thing. He was an 8th grader too, so that was probably embarrassing for him, but his entire shirt just ripped open. So yeah, we get to have, funny little memories.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm sure there's funny things that happen in classes. I know I've been shown assignments and things that are funny, but I think we get a different different level of entertainment sometimes from some of our students, and it definitely goes a long ways. I think too that just shows also some of the things that other teachers, administrators sometimes maybe take for granted as PE teachers that we deal with that nobody else would even have to think of. I can think of lots of times where even if it's accidental and it's funny after you get over the initial but losing equipment over fences and stuff. It's just like, you're not going to lose a math book over out the door of the math class. So, those are great. I mean, flag football can be a little dicey trying to pull. Dog running on, I've had some homeless people wander by.
I know you have some good stories, Miles.
Lots of interesting stuff that happens while you're outside managing kids and trying to keep them safe. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for doing this for us. We really appreciate it. And we really look forward to putting this out there. So anyway,
Thanks.
thank you again so much. Yeah.
Thanks. All right.
Hey, what a great series this week with Miss Angela McNamara from College Prep Middle School. I have the pleasure of her being my other physical education teacher at that school, and we love working with the kids there. But I think she gave a great overview for physical educators of her philosophy. We looked at grading today. We looked at some of the funny stories that she's had, but more importantly, we looked at how she likes to build units and some of the creativity that she has in order to fundraise and really make things happen. And then also the organization piece that she has is makes her an excellent physical educator. And so we look forward to being able to talk to more physical educators. We got some great content coming out next week. We'll have another show for you all tomorrow. I know Kevin's got some tips coming up here too, and I'll be talking physical education. And we're really excited for this piece of valuable coaching. We think valuable physical education is really important for all kids, and we think it can teach them a lot of lessons. So again, a big thank you to Miss Angela McNamara. We'll look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. And we want to thank our sponsor, One Stone Apparel. They do great physical education clothes. Made us this great polo for valuable coaching. And they do awesome vocabulary tees. Perfect for physical education. They got great words on the back. You can customize them. Great artwork. Easy to work with. Dave at One Stone Apparel. Check them out, onestoneapparel.com.